All right, hello. My name is Lewis Trotter, and I am the dialect coach for Major Barbara. So I'm just gonna make this video to kind of walk you through all of the sound substitutions for what we're gonna call the standard British dialect. There's no such thing as a standard British dialect, but this dialect is not quite RP, received pronunciation, or the Queen's English. It is not posh or antiquated in kind of a humorous way. It's a step away from that, where it's more broad and timeless, but still upper class and classy. The way that I'm teaching this dialect, in case you've never learned a dialect before or you've never learned it like this, is I use the sound substitutions method, which presents a sound that we have in our native dialect, and then if there's a pattern of that sound changing, being substituted, I've provided you with the new substitution. There are 10 sound substitutions for what we're going for here. That may sound like a lot, but when I take you through them, you'll realize it's not really that bad. So the purpose of this video is just for me to provide you with a resource to come back to. And that way you can have an audio component to it in case you forget what it is that the sound substitution is saying. Yeah, so I will read them and then give you space to repeat after me if you'd like to. At the top of the page, I have 3 specific word rules that I know will inevitably come up because they always do. So the first one is get versus get. Like going to the store to get this, get that, get. Very broad, get. The second one is to. We just want to make sure that in your sentences, go to the store to get, instead of do this to do that, to do that, to do that, to every time. And then the third one is been versus been. So I've been to the store. I've been here. Now let's move on to the one and only consonant sound substitution that I've included, which is T. Similar to the to, we kind of are more chillax in America and in the Midwest of America, where British dialects, they really embrace and punch their T's, so they're, I said, sharply and explosively. So better, lot of, shatter, motive, eating, sit down, writer. And then the practice sentence, I'll give you time to repeat after me. A lot of better writers print a lot of little words. So instead of a lot of better writers, a lot of better writers. Moving on to vowels. Now I have, in case you know IPA, I have the IPA symbols written in there, but that's not necessary. Not everyone knows IPA. But if you do know it and that helps you, I've included it. So this first sound substitution for vowels is the Bath lexical set. So I've said in here, this change is not 100% predictable. There's not like a hard and fast rule for it. The best way to know if a sound gets changed from this lexical set is just to test it out. And if it sounds weird, then it's probably wrong. So change the word pass. So pass, pass. Now change cat. Cat, caught, different word, doesn't really sound right. It's not right. So some words that get changed: past, pass, dance, chance, ask, answer, laughter, bath, can't, plaza, master, half. But some words that don't get changed are can, fact, tan, chat, fancy, matter, flag, sabotage, rabbit. So the practice sentence is He laughed as he danced to the bath past his aunt in fancy pajamas. The third sound substitution, the second vowel, is kind of rounding what we call the thought lexical set. It changes from thought to thought. Thought to thought. So we have words like awful, daughter, awkward, caught, Laura, call, water, chalk, small, la, la la la, but law, the law. It really shows that roundness. So the practice sentence is Paul's daughter Laura is awfully awkward when she talks about football. Ball. The fourth sound substitution is changing words that end in E to an I sound, a short I. So words like party change from party to party. Monday, lovely, crazy, pretty, ugly, city, silly, 40. Now, it sounds really posh. I will encourage my actors who play older and more posh characters to lean harder into this. And maybe if you're younger or less posh, maybe you don't lean into this particular one as much. I will add that when words like he or she or we are in the unstressed position in the sentence, they also have this sound change. So the practice sentence for this is, we had a lovely, silly party when Billy turned 50 on Saturday. Now time to the R's, labeled Are You Ready? So I've just broken down each vowel followed by the R so we can practice each individual one. So the first one, number 5, is what we call the nurse lexical set. Noise is changed to which sounds crazy out of context. Okay, but bird, her, earn, curdle, worm, first, per, journey, journey, tournament, kernel, berserk. So the practice sentence is, the first early bird murdered 30 turning worms. All right, moving on to number 6. This is what we call the north and force lexical sets. So from or to all. Warm, court, sport, morning, sword, quarter, shore, fork. All right, so the practice sentence is, an enormous tornado tore through the store this morning. Excellent. Okay. Number 7 is the start lexical set. So going from R to ah. Let's see how it sounds, shall we? Harm, card, far, park, army, heart, sergeant, clerk, garden party. So the practice sentence would go, a star called Mark stole hearts with his harp. A star called Mark stole hearts with his harp. And this last R sound substitution is kind of a catch-all. I'll just give you some examples. How about that? So we go from letter to letter, mother, perhaps, pester, rare, inquire, rower, hour, lawyer, layer, square, fire, fear, there, shore. Sound pretty good? Okay. The practice sentence is, our brother and sister hired a surefire lawyer from a square in Denver. Awesome. Okay. This is kind of I've labeled it as an 8.5 because it's just an extra tidbit. It's what we call an intrusive R. So there will be some R coloration at the end of a word if the following word begins with a vowel. So something like here is, where if you just said here would turn into here is, there are, her eyes, fear of death, idea of it. So even ones that didn't have an R in our dialect, like idea of it, you stick that R in there because it's kind of like a springboard. The intrusive R is kind of like a springboard to take your vowel, hit it with an R, go back to a vowel, instead of what we do in America, which is we break it up. Idea of it, idea of, we kind of do that. They do idea of it. Yeah. Okay, number 9. So we might say the word hurry. We almost start with the R. Hurry. It's the whole time the whole length of the vowel is colored by the R. But what this rule says is to separate them. So you start with a pure no R. You start with a pure just without an R at all. And then you stick the R on to flip it. You flip the R like on the second syllable. Instead of hurry, it's hurry. Instead of worry, it's worry. Stick the R on the second syllable. So we have courage, Durham, burrow, furrow. So the practice sentence is, courage is needed for curry in the borough of Durham. Number 10, very, very similar. Exactly the same idea, but with a different vowel. So instead of hairy, like we say, hairy, simple. Think Harry Potter. Harry, marry, Paris, carriage, arrow, Marilyn, Carolyn, parapet. So the practice sentence is, in Paris, Harry shot a sparrow from his carriage with an arrow. Nice. Okay, so that is the last sound substitution. I stuck some extra fun in there, so just very specific changes that we'll make. So words ending in ILE are spoken as isle. So mobile instead of mobile. Fertile becomes fertile. Futile, tactile. Okay, words that end in Tory, Terry, Bury, or similar, kind of rearrange the sound to sound, instead of secretary, it's secretary. And definitely lean into this if you are an older character or more posh characters. If you're going to lean into the vowel or the sound substitution E to I, like Monday, Tuesday, lean into this one hard too. Secretary, laboratory, dictionary, raspberry, Newbury. This next extra fun is just a handful of words that have a different emphasis on a different syllable than we're used to. So, detail, cigarette, aluminium, television, Bernard, magazine. Here are some different pronunciations entirely. There's just not a rule for these, you just kind of have to know them. And I noted that more of these will come up and we'll address them as they go. It's not anything to lose sleep over. Process instead of process. Program instead of program. Simultaneous instead of simultaneous. Simultaneous. Lever, leisure, zebra. With instead of with. Herb, nope. Herb instead of herb. Schedule, privacy, issue, figure, patent, clerk, derby, nephew, garage. Thoughts? That's about it. If you have any immediate questions, feel free to email me. But I'll be in contact soon to start setting up one-on-one meetings to see how we're doing and answer any questions and just work on this, because it might be your first time and it might be kind of daunting to learn a whole new way of speaking that you've never had to do before, or maybe you've never seen it in this way presented to you in sound substitutions. But that's what I'm here for, is to support you in any way that I can. And yeah, you're gonna sound great. The show's gonna be great. So yeah, happy to be here, and let me know if you need anything from me. Okay, bye.